Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Poke Trainer Tyson here for the Poke Trainer Hub, and we've got something a little different for the channel today. We got some gameplay. So this is the newest version of Lugia VStar with one card, actually, only one, involved from Prismatic Evolutions. The deck that you're seeing on the screen here was the fourth place list. Yeah, fourth place list from the Championship League Osaka in Japan that happened a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. You'll notice there's only one new card. The only new card in here is the Regigigas. For folks that don't know what the Regigigas does, the Regigigas for 4 energy, 4 colorless energy, does 100 plus 230 damage if your opponent's Pokemon is a Terra. So for the math there, you KO, I believe it's every Terra Pokemon in the game. That's enough to knock out Dragapult in one shot. That's enough to knock out Charizard in one shot. And in our second game today here, it actually is pretty relevant as a threat. It doesn't actually get used in the second game, but in the first game it does, so you'll get to see it. But my opponent ended up in a position they really didn't want to be in because of the Regigigas. So I hopped into live, played a few games. It's the 16th currently, so the first day that the set is legal. Let's go ahead and hop in. Alright, you guys, so we've got the games going at 1.5 speed because, of course, some of these decisions take a little while to make. I end up going first with this deck, and I remember this first game is Ceruledge. One of the issues I still have with Ceruledge is that it really wants to go first, and sometimes going second can spell your downfall, which I do think it did bad for my opponent here going second, especially because he did not start a great starter. And I kind of just flipped heads every time I needed to flip heads in this matchup, which is an innate problem for Lugia. If I did not flip heads when I needed to flip heads, we could have had a much worse game, but this is kind of a perfect game. Alright, so we start off, we flip a heads, and of course we go get Archeops because we have an Ultra Ball in our hand. Now, if you look at the deck list from the beginning of the video, this list does play Carmine, so I'm thinking about going and putting this Lumineon down so that I can get a Carmine this turn. I have a few options since I know I'm playing Ceruledge. I'm thinking about getting the Baby Rat to try and set it up. I'm thinking about getting the Torrential Pump option with the Wellspring potentially, but I end up going with Squawkabilly because this allows me to see 11 cards this turn with Carmine and with the Squawk and Seize. So we go Carmine for 5 and end up, if we flip heads, which I believe we do with this Capturing Aroma, then it's perfect. I was considering just Ultra Balling and then Squawking, but I think I ended up making the right call because I still have that option even if I flip Tails here. And if I flip Tails, I can go get a Baby Rat. So we go dump the Thornton, dump the Archeops. At least I think I got rid of the Thornton. Yeah, because I was thinking about keeping it, but because I went first, I don't have to worry about my Lugia going down next turn. So I can just go get my Lugia and say, if they Iono me, they Iono me. It doesn't really hurt me because I can have 2 more V-Stars in deck. It only works for them if it helps them. And they would probably rather research than Iono. So Squawkabilly doesn't even have to get used, but and I did think right after this turn, dang, that could come and bite me, but thankfully it didn't because we're going to take the first 2 prize knockout. Unless they Iono me, we're guaranteed the first 2 prize knockout, and that's, you just kind of can run away with the game against Ceruledge. For a while they were playing the Legacy Energy, but not any longer. And I think my opponent should just, in this turn, is just focus on establishing the strongest board he can, which is probably the best thing they can do. Because this is a deck where, or this is a matchup where honestly the Palkia might not even want to come down because there's no Greninja play to be made. But go get turn 2 birds, busted turn, and we know we're gonna hit for 220. This deck does play 16 energy and only 3 DTE, so I'm trying to decide what combination of energy is best to go on this Lugia to still have some gas left in the tank to maybe hit for this Mencino and use Regigigas. The reason you only play 3 DTE is because you don't want a DTE on your Regigigas because that will lower the amount of damage that you're doing. If you put a DTE on your Regigigas, you're not knocking out Dragapults and Charizards. But we take the first 2 prize knockout. We got a gift on the rat, so if they target it down, they'll give us 6 cards or 3 cards now that we took our prizes. And there's a gift on the Lugia. If they don't, knock out the Lugia, I knock out the bird. If they knock out the rat, they give me cards. So my opponent's best bet is to potentially try and knock out one of my 2 prize liabilities or my Archeops, honestly. But again, they will probably rather research, because you'll see I check their discard. Even at the end of this turn, I think they get to 9 energy in the discard. That is still only 210 damage, which is not enough to knock out this Lugia. Yeah, and there you see the research. They're trying to put some more energy in the discard. They succeed, they get 3 more in there, but again, it's not super relevant. Now, I'm in a kind of wonky situation because I would much rather have Boss in my hand than Iono right now, so I can go take out the Fez. But I have to Iono and hope to get Ultra Ball or get the Big Rat so that I can take out this Ceruledge in front of me. And if I get the Ceruledge knockout, it's probably just checkmate. My opponent really can't do anything, because then I go to 2 prizes. I can Boss next turn and knock out one of their 2 prizers. I think I actually research here. Yep. So we're gonna risk it and say I'd rather them hit this 1 prizer anyway. So jet up the rat, and I think I researched to C7 instead of 6. And yep, Ultra Ball just kind of gives it to us. Yep. Thought process behind the Mezagoza is they already have 2 Ceruledge up, so it doesn't benefit them any, and it can save me having to discard something. This is me doing math to see how many DTE I can put on this thing to knock out the Ceruledge and potentially still have energy left to take the Regigigas knockout. And I think, yeah, in this game I don't even end up needing to do the Regigigas thing. Yeah, because they are forced to knock out this rat. If they don't knock out this rat, they just lose the game. Because it is currently 2-6. So my Ceruledge opponent is only going to take 1 prize this game. Yep, no draw from gift because my hand is loaded, but I don't really need it. If Lumineon is in my deck, I just win. If Lumineon's not in my deck, I can Regigigas. Or I can even amp for a game, but I would need Boss to amp, so I still need Lumineon for that play. But there goes Lumineon. There goes Boss for game. We're gonna boss up, I think, Fez, and then just swing with Lugia for game here. GG's, no rees to my opponent. Yeah, Lugia just doing Lugia things still. If Lugia sets up, it is still, in my opinion, pound for pound, one of the strongest decks in the format. And that's kind of not even an opinion. You see Kieran continuously doing good with it. I think he got 9th at Toronto with this deck. Of course, it's not this version of the deck, but it's like 1 or 2 cards off. Now, in this next game, I really wanted to get a game in where Badoo is a factor. Lugia is a deck that does not care about Badoo. This version of the deck plays 3 research. Most Western decks play 4 research. So as long as you're not researching too much energy, you're gonna get what you need. We get to go first again. Busted. This is the Dragapult Dusknoir matchup, and I get Badooed a lot this game, actually, quite a few times. But my opponent has a slow setup. One of the issues with the Dragapult Dusknoir list, because Dragapult Dusknoir actually won, I believe it was the first North American regionals this format, is it does not draw cards unless you get your Dracloak out in a timely fashion. My opponent does not get the Dracloak out in a timely fashion, so I think I end up getting a Lugia here because this is kind of a weird hand. But next turn I have Iono. Yep, Baby Rat is good. My opponent does do a good job of targeting my rats this game. I'll give them that, because they kind of have to. If they don't target these rats, it's another thing where I can make their life hard. Yeah, my opponent has a pretty great start here. And the Badoo, so it is annoying if I have like the double Archeops and then I didn't have Ultra Ball, but I drew Ultra Ball right now, I'd be like a little tilted. But we did not have it. I think I don't bench this. Do I bench this? I think I should not have benched it if I did. Yeah, okay, I did not. Because I was like, Iono's going to put it back in my deck, and I can just get it later. Okay, right here in this moment, I was glad I didn't evolve so that I could still use Read the Wind. Because I would have been real tilted because I could not Ultra Ball and do not have a supporter in hand that will let me Ultra Ball. So sometimes it is correct not to evolve, friends. So here's my opponent's first Dusknoir. They're going to go ahead and pop this rat. This is something powerful this deck can do, is they can use Curse Blast and then still use Badoo. So if they give me something good, it doesn't matter. I might not be able to use it. Three research is wild. I think I send up the Ogre Pawn to Sob at the end of this because they don't have rescue board anymore. Yeah. Reestablish rat and say, hey, do it again. Research into kind of nothing, but I think I'll get down second Lugia because second Lugia is still good. Oh, no, that's next turn. Okay. Note to self, put down the second Lugia next time. Because they're in a position where if they get Radiant Alakazam and Boss and Rare Candy, they would need a lot. But all they need is Rare Candy into Dragapult, attach, Boss. Yeah, theoretically they could have done it, so I could have, to take it out of question, I could have been on the second Lugia. But they just Artisan, Itchy Pollen again. So this is another Read the Wind angle, I'm pretty sure. Yep. And I think I don't bump the Artisan because it doesn't matter. Their bench is full. Not me not remembering anything I did in this game. Okay, so we sob again, so they can't retreat. Which I guess is still good because this will guarantee me a turn of not item lock next turn. Unless, because they don't play Prime Catcher. I'm assuming this is the Osaka's list and they don't play Prime Catcher. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, top 3 list played Crystal. Yep. But Evolution gets them out of the sob, so they Itchy Pollen again. And the Itchy Pollen damage is pretty... It is a factor. My opponent has a sick play in here where they get rid of a rat with it in a bit. But again, Read the Wind angle. And at this point, all I need is a Lugia VStar. I'm pretty sure I have the Archeops in the discard already. I'm just biding my time. Iono is great because it puts all that energy and the Regigigas back in my deck, and there's the VStar. So my opponent gives it to me. So we evolve. We go double birds. And from this point, my opponent essentially is cooked for the rest of the game. So I over energy the Ogre Pawn here so that I can leave a gift on it at the end of the turn, because it's very easy for Dragapult to knock that out this turn. And I think I put a gift. Where did I put this gift? DTE. Okay, I put it on the Lugia so that I could retreat for just the DTE. And we start taking prizes. So they gave us 1, we torrential pump and take 2 more. And at that point we have 3 prizes left, and it's pretty easy to clean up from here. So at this point in the game, I can rat next turn. I eventually have Regigigas, so if my opponent makes their Dragapult and somehow takes out the rat, then I can Regigigas the Dragapult and make them make another one. And they only have 1 Dracloak down right now, so they have to evolve next turn as well. yeah, I see that and I go, okay, they're gonna Lance, and Lance is gonna help their setup a lot here. I'm kind of glad, like, I needed them not to have Lance earlier to have this setup, because if they got into their Lances earlier, they could really be pumping it right now. They must have prized the Dracloak, because they only get a Dracloak in a Dragapult here. Here's the sick play that they do. Okay, so they get all their setup done. They have Radiant Alakazam on. Now, they take 2 off of the Water Ogerpon and move it to the Rat. Now, at this point, I already knew if they do this, I win the game, because I can boss Lumineon. And my opponent figures it out too, yeah, so we don't even finish the game. They don't pop it, so their thought was to take a 3-prize turn, Dusclops, the baby rat, and then kill the Water Pond. But they see it, they know if they do that, I can go boss Lumineon, win the game, I can power up Regigigas, knock out Dragapult, win the game. So yeah, those are the games from today. As y'all can see, Lugia still doing Lugia things, still great, still one of the fastest decks in the format, and it's kind of wild, honestly. But yeah, let me know if y'all want to see more gameplay. I'll probably post a few more gameplay videos now that Prismatic Evolutions is out, and especially as we get towards rotation time, I'll post some more about the competitive TCG. But again, this has been your boy Poke Trainer Tyson here at the Poke Trainer Hub. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.